Well, going outside to give you guys a little bit of an update. Or not, because it's raining. Guess I can stand right here. And, yeah, what the fuck? That's a big ass bee. Well, he didn't want no smoke, so he flew away. But anyhow, an update. Hopefully you guys can see the car back there in the background. I'm getting wet. But here's what I'm doing. So in the last video, you guys saw the time lapse of me and the guy taking the air suspension off. So he bought the air suspension. I got a good price. I made a couple dollars more than what I did spending on it, if that makes sense. So I made a little bit of a profit, basically. So, yeah. Drove the car back for a while, made some money off it. Cool. Now I'm just waiting for the car to sell. Somebody's actually going to come look at it today in a couple hours, but it's raining right now, so hopefully it stops, because I did not know it was going to rain. But, yeah, so as for what is going to be replacing this thing, it's not like a surprise or anything. It's going to be either a 135i or an E36. One thing I didn't like about my E36, besides the fact that it was automatic, was something that I did. And what I did was I gave up on it. I had a whole bunch of plans, like I had the stroker kit, the 5-speed swap, and it's not that I gave up on those things, it's that me being a businessman, I got those things for great deals, and then I posted about them, and then people hit me up like, oh, I'll buy it for this another price, and it'll be double what I spent on it. So I'm me thinking like, yeah, I'd be an idiot to keep this when I could probably grab another stroker kit again for the same price that I bought it for, and got basically the same amount of money. So I'd basically be getting a free stroker kit. Like, that's was my mentality. Same thing with the 5-speed swap. I bought a 5-speed swap for basically $500. I sold it for $1,000 literally like 2 weeks later. So, and it's just like, I made so much money off that car. Like, when I parted the car out in 3 days, I made enough money to buy that thing. So it's like, that E36 really brought me a lot of profit, because just like with the Z, I bought stuff secondhand for really low, got my use out of it, and I sold it. And still I still sold these things for a good price, so the person was getting a deal, and I still made a lot of money off of them. So that's just how I do business. I tend not to buy things for the retail price unless it's something sponsored. So yeah, and that's the thing with the E36. So for the E36, there's a couple things in the works that I'm not gonna mention, because I'm still in talks with a couple companies about something that has never been done with these exact setups. So, you know, I can't really get into that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, or if it's kind of hard to explain, because it's not something ordinary. Like, it's really, it's different. So, in regards to this, I hope it's gone soon. I love the 350Z, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful car. The only thing is, making power on these cars takes a lot. It takes a lot of supporting mods. It takes a lot of money. Like even a flex fuel kit and stuff. Like, it's just so extra. And my hand's getting tired, so, you know, I have to keep switching hands. But it's like, I wanted to do a couple things on this, but it's just like, the still-in supercharger kit that I wanted, it was like $2,000 used, but it only adds 80 horsepower. So it's like, what's the what? $2,000 for 80 horsepower on an E36? You spend $2,500, and you can go up to 400 horsepower. And then if you get like a little bit more supporting mods, maybe another $500 on top of that, or $1,000, you can push the CX Racing kit to 500 horsepower, like 480 to 500, and you'll be able to run the CX kit. As long as you're not romping on it 24/7, you can run it reliably with all the right supporting mods. And that'll be for around around 5 grand. But if you spend 5,000 on a Z, unless you're getting a turbo kit for a steel that you may most likely have to rebuild, or a supercharger kit that you most likely will have to rebuild, you're only going to get about 100 horsepower out of it, 120. And it's just like, it's really not worth it. You have to spend in excess of 10, 15 grand to pass 450. So it's like, the car is beautiful, breaks necks. Porsche drivers are always driving up to me, and we're always having fun on the highway and stuff, but it's just, I want a faster car, and unless I swap this thing, it just doesn't make sense, because with all that, I might as well just get a 2J swap or a 1J swap and spend 7 grand and get like 500-600 horsepower or something. And that's if I do it myself with the help of people, but it's like, yeah, that's just so extra. And another thing, another potential car, actually, speaking of 1Js, is a 350Z that has a 1J. It just needs to be tuned and maybe a couple little things. So that's one option that I may finesse, because, I just may do that. Because I really do love 350Zs. Like, they're beautiful cars. They look absolutely amazing. They can fit stupid wide wheels. Like, I can put 16 wide wheels on the back with the right amount of camber and stuff like that. Like, that's just what I do. So, yeah. And nextly, the issue with the 135i that I don't like, because I'm piggybacking on what I just said about the Z, is the wheel specs. You can't really do wide wheels on a 135i unless you go 1M fenders, tandem kit, or Liberty Walk, whichever wide body it is, or fender flares, or whatever. And it's like, even if you pull the fenders and do a lot of work and really heat them up and pull the piss out the fenders, I'm pretty sure the max you can run is like a 10.5 with decent tires. And for whichever car I get next, I'm not going to be running a lot of stretch. I'm going to be running a meteor fitment, because I'm going to be going for a little more power. Granted, I'm going to have a little bit of stretch. Like on the rear, I have a 285, which is a little bit of a stretch, and that's on a 12. That's decent. I'd probably run like a 295 or a 305 if I was going to be running a 12 on the E36 with a 12 on the rear. Tiny bit of a stretch, looks good, low profile, blah blah blah. That's what I would do. So it's like, yeah, I guess you guys are just about to have to see what happens. I still don't know what's going to happen, because I really don't know. I'm still doing research. It's been a couple weeks now when I just started to put the Z up for sale, because it's like, yeah, it's time to get on the ball. And I don't like giving up on things. And I've always been a BMW and a Mercedes guy. The Nissans that I like the most, besides the 350Z, because I do love them, are the R32 and the R35. So yeah, I guess you guys will just have to see in the next thing. And here's a little wad of cash from the bags.